Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you will receive alerts when there are new episodes. Go get it.
That's what I tell them. I've been grinding for so long, I wake up and chase my goals. I go out and I go get it. Hot or cold, that's all I know. I don't succeed, then I don't breathe. Success, what does it mean? If I conquer all my goals, then I'm living out my dream. Dig deep, go out and get it. Success Chronicles. Compete until it's finished. Success Chronicles. Go take care of your business. Success Chronicles. It's deeper than just winning. Success Chronicles.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker coming to you with the Hangout and Highlight session. And man, I am excited about this one. We have my guy, Thomas Williams, on with us. Man, great guy. Been blessed and fortunate to achieve some really neat things throughout his life. But not only has he done some cool things, but he's taken what he's learned and is and has been using that to be a blessing to others. And so, he just released a new book, and I wanted to make sure that I took the time to highlight him and what he's doing on my platform, because you need to know who he is, and you need to go get all of his books, not just this new one, but all of them. But Thomas, man, appreciate you taking the time to hang out and highlight on the Success Chronicles, man.
Man, I appreciate it, Chip. One of the things that I love about when we get a chance to see each other, whether it's virtual like we're doing now or in person, I'm always left feeling better, not only about myself, but about my purpose and my mission, man. And that's the blessing that you have, not only on the people who you get a chance to connect with, but the world in itself, man. So appreciate this time. I know you're talking about me sharing, but you're also exchanging with me the energy, man, the success, the trials, tribulations, and also, what's to come. And so I appreciate you, man. And from the bottom of my heart, man, love everything that you're doing. So appreciate you for sharing me with your community.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, let's share with them like who is Thomas Williams? I mean, I know you, but just so they know, tell them a little bit about your background and kind of track your journey till now, man.
Yeah, man. So my background is biracial. Grew up in a town called Northern California. Parents got divorced at a young age. Lived with my mom, my grandparents for a little bit. Then my mom was in a relationship with a guy named Ron, who was just kind of like that ultimate father figure who taught me about the disciplines, respect, all these other values. And the greatest thing that he ever gave me was the ability and the confidence, which came through sports. And so that took me all the way up through high school, where I earned a scholarship. And I had a chance to play at USC from 2003 to 2007. We won 2 national championships, where we were actually 1 yard away from winning our 3rd consecutive national championship, where Lindell White was running the ball. We needed 2 yards. He got 1. They stacked the box on us. As you can tell, I've forgotten about it, and it doesn't bother me anymore. But man, played 5 years in the NFL, suffered a careening neck injury. A couple of days after I retired in 2012, went to church. God said, listen, you thought football was your purpose, but it was just your passion to lead you to your purpose. And man, since September 6, 2012, I've been on a mission to not only inspire, impact people, but also letting people know that their current circumstances is not their ending times.
Man, I love it, man. It's so good. And like I said, as far as your journey, man, such a cool journey. Just sometimes I just think about the things that you been fortunate to do and see and people that you've been around to play with and be coached by.
Yeah.
And so and then I'm not just talking about just football, but I'm talking about in life, man. There's some great people that you've been able to come in contact with. But the new book. Talk to us about the new book.
I dig the new book, man.
Talk to us about the new book and kind of hit on some of the process. How was that process for you?
Well, I mean, as you know, the process of I'm a man and I'm a dad of 2, and so I've never given birth before, right? I've been there for, you find out, hey, we're pregnant. You go to the ultrasounds and you can see the little heartbeats and the different body parts. And then all of a sudden you're there in the hospital one day and here comes a baby. And so I feel like this is the closest thing for me to ever experience kind of, pregnancy. You know, you have this story, you have this message that's built up in you. And whether you're working every single day, once a week, once a month, whatever your process is, it's coming out of you. You're seeing this blank canvas, this blank sheet of paper as you're writing, as you're pouring out and sharing. And then what happens is months later, you have a book or you have a manuscript, and then you develop this cover and all of these things. But I want to go back to at the very beginning of how, one, did I come up with the book, the title, and then also you talked about, I'm lucky and blessed and fortunate enough to have so many proper people in my life to guide, steer me, and just, affirm the things that I'm doing in my life. And that person's Jon Gordon, of how we met. And so for the last, 2-3 years, Jon has told me, you got to write that book. You got to write that book. And so finally, Jon and I were having a conversation. I was in my home in LA, in my kitchen. And I said, Jon, what's the next step for me? You've been to the place that I'm at, and you're at the place that I want to be. And he said, you got to write that book. And so I've been telling Jon about Dig since 2020, when God specifically put inside of my heart. In my room, I'm making my bed, and God said, this stage and season of your life is about you becoming deeper. I need to give you more depth. Okay, God, give me more depth. How are we going to do that? He said, you're going to get more depth by going down. I need you to go down. So I experienced several different life circumstances, some setbacks, some adversity, and understanding all along the way, this wasn't punishment for me. This was development for me. And so when I got developed inside of this season, I was like, I want to share. And so God said, you need to share with people how you were able to dig. And so dig is just this acronym of diving into greatness. So many times we feel about like, I need to walk into greatness. I need to be, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, but you need to dive into it. One of the things that I used to love when I was growing up was we used to have a community pool. And so when my friends who had the membership to the community pool, they would ask me, and it was normally in the summer times on the weekend, do you want to go to the pool? And still to this day, I hate cold water. And when I say cold water, I mean anything that's outside of a hot tub is cold water to me. You could put a shower on all the way hot, and that still might be cold to me. And this pool was nice. And I remember when I first went to the community pool for the first time, I went to the shallow end. And yes, I can swim, but I went to the shallow end so I could walk into the pool. Let me get it. Let me feel it. And so I used to see my friend Philip, Grant, Robert, James. They would always dip their toe in real quick and just feel the temperature. And then they would run over to the diving board. They jump up on the diving board, and then they would run as fast as they can, hit one spring, jump up in the air, say cannonball, and they smashed the water. And that's how they got into the water. So they immediately got into the water. But for me, I used to take my time, and sometimes it'd be a little colder than I was ready for. And so I jump back out and I go stand in the sun for a little bit more. And then I would slowly but surely get into it. But what I noticed, Chip, during that time is that they were already swimming in the pool, having fun. But for me, I was taking my time getting into the place that I ultimately wanted to go. See, greatness is some place that all of us, one, we have inside of us, but we're also searching for it. And so how do you get there? You got to dive into greatness. And so this is my first book that's a fable. And I learned again from Jon, having the conversation when Jon said, when you write in stories, when you write in fables, everybody can take what they need. Everybody can take where they're at in life, and everybody can employ it into their own life. But when you write in realistics, it's like, I don't really need that right now. But a story affects and touches us all differently. And so this is my first fable, which I'm super excited to share with the world. It just recently published and came out. And man, I've gotten a lot of great feedback from it. And most importantly, man, it's that people said that they've taken a lot from the main character, but even more importantly, some of the co-stars in the movie. Or I say it's a movie, but it's a book. But yeah. It's a movie as you read it.
No, it's definitely a movie. Get your popcorn. Yeah, man, that's awesome. I loved diving into greatness. That's so good. And I'm an acronym guy, so man, I'm all over that. Like when you said that, I'm visualizing, like you said, like just get in there, man. Come on.
Yeah. Don't try to wait for it.
Yeah, come on.
One of the things that the main character in the book, he's trying to tippy-toe his way around. And what he finds when he's tippy-toe away around his own personal greatness is that adversity comes to deter him. Adversity comes to try to steer him off the beaten path. And so one of the principles in the books is we need to all, when we're on this exploration. We're exploring our ways, and we're going to ultimately our greatest place, our greatness. What we need to do is we need to actually look for our quitting moment, right? So many times people try to think about, okay, well, if I have a quitting moment, this is telling me something. Maybe I need to pivot. Maybe I need to take a left turn, a right turn. But actually, these are the moments that you need to get excited for when you're almost getting ready to quit, because most people are going to get off the bus. Most people are going to get off the train. Most people are going to get off the bike. Most people are going to put it down, stop, quit, and go to another place. But for you, you need to look for that quitting place in your life, because right on the opposite side of the quitting place becomes greatness, becomes that surprise, becomes that tipping point, becomes that moment where you look and you go, oh, I'm so glad I didn't quit, because if I would have quit, I wouldn't experience this. One of the things that I used to love growing up watching as a kid was American Gladiator. And I might be aging myself. Yeah, I'm 38 years old, and I used to love American Gladiator, right? As soon as the referee come out and be like, challengers ready, gladiators ready, and they would get it on. And so at the very end of the show, it was the obstacle course. And so they would go up and down and competing against each other. And I don't know if you remember, Chip, but at the very end, there were these 4 walls that were presented in front of the challenger. And behind 2 of the walls, or maybe even 3 of the walls, they had an American Gladiator with this pad. And this person was big, swole, buff. And their job was, as soon as you bust through this door, you were going to have a fight of your life to try to make it to the finish line and hit the button to say, I've completed this race. And so many times people would get there and they would stop and they would slow down. And right before they would get to break that door down and see if they were going to actually hit an American Gladiator, they would stop. Their momentum would stop, and which means that they now had to fight this and challenge this American Gladiator. But the people who said, you know what, I don't care what's behind that door, I'm getting through. They made up their mind that what was on the other side of that door was greater than the challenge or the obstacle that was going to try to prevent them and stop them from going into that, man. And so that's the same thing when you're looking for that quitting point. That's when you got to get excited. It's almost like you wake up and you're like, oh, something's trying to get me to quit, which means that there's something great on the other side of this obstacle, this challenge, this mountain, or this quitting. And so when we do think about those quitting moments, there are things for people to quit. It's good. Get out my way. This is going to be less crowded if you get out my way anyways. But that obstacle and that challenge, that's not talking to me. That's talking to the people who don't want it as much as I do.
Man, so good. So good. I have a thing that I too, and like I said, I'm an acronym guy, and I say BBFBL. And it's similar to what you just talked about. Biggest blessing from biggest lesson.
Yeah, man. You're right.
And so you think about some of those toughest, like if you reflect on the probably the top 5 toughest moments you ever had in your life, if you reflected on that, and then you thought about, okay, what did I learn from those? And it's probably been the biggest blessings of your life.
So big, so big. It's the biggest lessons. But see, that's the thing, right? Like we want the blessing on the other side, but we don't want to necessarily do what we have to do to get there. Like I can revert back to, talking about, birthing of a child. I mean, I've never held a baby in my stomach. I have all my children in my arms, but having that, I'm sure if I go in the other room right now and I ask Taylor and I say, hey, how is the feeling in the comparison of holding your child versus growing and birthing your child? And I guarantee you, without a doubt, she'd say, oh my gosh, if I get to do this for the rest of my life, those 10 months, yeah, they were painful, they were uncomfortable, and I wanted it to end. But that feeling that I got on the other side was greater than the feeling that I experienced throughout. I mean, you're spot on with everything. And so, one of those things that we do have to remember, Chip, is that find your quitting point. When you can find your quitting point, understanding that that's the excitement, that's not the deterrence. That's the excitement of what we need to do in order to get through it. But we're, just like you said, going to find the blessing on the other side of that door.
Ooh, so good, man. Well, as we close, I'd love for you to get an opportunity to share with the audience where they can go follow you, check you out, show you some love, and get that book.
All right. So where you can get the book Dig is on Amazon. You can also go to the website, which is thomasrwilliams.com. And other than that, man, I cannot be seen because I have not been on social media since December 31st of 2019, because I am on a quest, obviously, for my own personal mental health, but also sharing with other people if social media has the great things that it has to provide, but also being able to share with people that you can become successful without becoming, letting the world know exactly every move that you're making. And so I'm on a quest right now to show people that you can become successful without social media, if you have a clear passion and purpose of direction of where you're going.
Love it, man. Well, again, I just want to say thanks so much for taking the time to hang out and be interviewed, be highlighted on the Success Chronicles, and wish you continued success.
All right, Chip. Thanks, man, so much. Everybody, give it up for your boy, Chip Baker, because not only does he inspire you on a weekly basis, every time I talk, text, and communicate with him, he inspires me. So I'm giving it up for him, and you definitely should be giving it up for my man, Chip Baker.
Well, let's go get it, baby. All right, man. Thank you. And thank you guys for checking out this session. We'll see you next time. God bless.
Go get it.